All right, it does look like everybody has qualified that's going to. Brian Mansfield did not, so we are getting ready to line up and go green flag racing. Up front, it will be Brian Burkhart and Anthony Probst, Michael Whiting and Mason Neal on the second road. Eddie Baker comes in fifth. Derek Turner is sixth. Jim Johnson is seventh. Drew Warren is eighth. Ninth is Mike Killenbeck. 10th is Spencer Brown. DJ Kenner and Matt Stewart 11th and 12th. 13th is Superman Norman Chan. Jim Cook is 14th. Leo Giacondo is 15th. And Brian Mansfield starting tail end of the field in 16th. Taking a quick look at the track conditions, the temperature's gone up 1 degree, but the track temperature has come down a couple of degrees from earlier. That will not last long. I promise you that temperature is going to come back up before long. And humidity will play a part in it, helping these engines run a little hotter than they want them to. And of course, the all-present danger of the big one. Quick look through the field here. Couple of new drivers in the field. Eddie Baker, Spencer Brown, I do believe, is new this week. DJ Kenner, as always, hanging out back there. Looking forward to seeing what DJ can do in the dirt umps after this. Matt Stewart there to his outside. Superman Norman Chan in reverse. Hey, Norm, you're going the wrong way, buddy. Yep, there he goes. Looked like he was about to back into Leo Giacondo there. Interesting way to start the night. All right, we will have a single pace lap here. As they come out of turn 2, you saw the blue commitment cone there to the inside, and I promise you, if we have any, or I should say, when we have caution pit stops, I guarantee you some of these guys are going to try and hit that cone and knock it downfield. Lined up side by side. This is the calmest it will be all night on the track. And don't forget to hit that share button. Get as many people in here watching. It helps out these leagues, and it helps out sponsors like Loud Wraps and B-Make Designs and MotoWear International, all three of which are sponsors of this league. And getting them some visibility helps these leagues out and helps these drivers out, helps everybody. So huge shout out if you hit the share button. Thank you guys very much. All right, pace car is finally going to drop off after driving just over 2 miles around the track. It is a Mustang, so we're just impressed that it managed to pull it off. But the pace car is in. And here they come. That start-finish line is at the end of the tri-oval at Talladega. Makes a little bit later start. Green flag in the air, and here they go. Barney the flag man up there waving the green. And we've already got one off. Looks like Leo Giacondo crashed. Let's see what happened to Leo. He blew up. He must have been in first gear and forgot to shift. I'm not sure what happened there, but to see somebody blow up right on the start, he will be able to go in, get a fast repair, get a new engine dropped in there, but not the way Leo wanted to start the night, and a little bit of a heartbreak for him. Meanwhile, he got off the track quickly, The tow truck got to him extremely quick. He is in the pits getting everything taken care of. Brian Burkhart is in the lead. Anthony Probst still there on the outside. No real changes for position up front. Mid-pack, the only position changes. Jim Cook has come up 1 spot. Brian Mansfield has come up 2 spots. Norman Chan has dropped to the back. And I promise you, Norman Chan's drop to the back is intentional. And they have completed 2 laps, or 1.5 laps now. They're just about to full speed. It does take a while to get these cars up to full speed. Well, about the time they hit the start-finish line, they will be up to full speed. And when they hit the start-finish line, or rather when they hit the front straightaway, why don't we take a little ride along with DJ Kinner there in the middle of the pack. Coming out of turn 4 down the front straightaway into the tri-oval. Notice the banking does change right now. Not a big deal. Later in the run, it will be. He's leaving a little gap between him and the 5 car right now, keeping some fresh air in the engine. Gets right to the back bumper, though. That low line is definitely faster in the corners. The outside line carries more momentum on the straightaways. Down the back straightaway, staying extremely close. Just enough. You see him duck a little bit low, getting a little air. You hear him crack the throttle there. Just trying to not run into the back of the 5 car of Mike Killenbeck. And right now they're only 2 wide. This track can easily do 3 and 4 wide. As he gets a little squirrely coming off turn 4, they can easily get 3 and 4 wide, and I promise you before this race is over, they will. And that was 2.6 miles in 52 seconds. 52.06 seconds to be exact. And all 15 cars are within a second of each other. Leo Giacondo now back out on track, and I do believe the leaders are going to catch up to him. He drops low to make sure he doesn't interfere and cause an accident. Norman Chan, we talked about, he had dropped off the back. He is starting to pick his way forward. He's picked up a couple of spots there, just staying at the tail end of the pack right now, though. Giving himself a little bit of room if he needs it. Up front, Eddie Baker has picked up several positions since the start of this race. He is now battling up in second place with Anthony Probst on the bottom in the Berkeley car, the 98. There's Anthony Probst. He is looking to see who was scored first on the last at the start-finish line last time by. That leading a lap will come into play later into the season. And I have to tell you, as an announcer, it's really fun to watch these, and you wish you were in them. And sometimes when you're in them, you're wishing you were announcing. The outside line has managed to build a little bit of a lead. Eddie Baker, though, staying to the high side. He's not dropping down. He's got Mason Neal right behind him, helping to push him up to the lead. Anthony Probst being scored in third, and the early positions really don't matter as long as they survive. These guys up front are just jockeying to pick up an extra bonus point or two before the night is out. At the back of the pack, you've got a group: Brian Mansfield, DJ Kinner, Matt Stewart, Superman Norman Chan, all back there hanging out together. And no big surprise to see these guys working together back here. They're used to working together in all sorts of different cars on these draft tracks. and they make for a really good team. If I was the guys up at the front, I would be a little bit worried about those four being together. Right now, they're taking it easy. We're only 7 laps into a 60-lap race. At any point in time, those four get together, they will come to the front together. Leo Giacondo had dropped back onto pit road. Looks like he is back up off of pit road. Now Michael Whiting working his way up to the front in the 44. He is in second place. He pushes Anthony Probst to the lead. That outside line is slowed down just a little bit. Nose to tail all the way through the field. Norman Chan hanging out off the back. He picked up a couple of spots earlier. Now he's back to the back, and I guarantee you, knowing the way that this man drives on a draft track, he was dropping back, testing the waters to see how much time he needs to start picking up some momentum and working his way up. As Michael Whiting drops to the low side there after getting some help from Eddie Baker, he drops to the low side and leads his first lap of the night. As they come down the back straightaway up front, Michael Whiting and looked like Anthony Probst were really, Anthony was really pushing Michael down the back straightaway. We'll see if he gets back. Starting to see a little bit of the bump draft coming into play here, as Anthony Probst gets right to the back bumper. Now there is a little bit of a aero bubble there. If you get, you can sometimes get just close enough to bump, but not be able to get, there's enough of an air barrier there that it's very difficult to get up there and actually physically push somebody. But if you're pushing that air bubble between the cars, that is still helping. You can be in the car and you'll hear the RPM start to pick up if you're the front car. Anthony Probst looking to the outside, doesn't make a move. He is right on the back bumper of the 44, so he's going to have to keep a close eye on his engine temperatures. Everybody else so far seems to be leaving a little bit of room to help keep the keep these cars cooled off, but and the other thing being, these two front cars, the 29, the 44, these guys that have led, they have used a bit more fuel. They're going to have to pit a little bit sooner than everybody else, and that could come into play as well. Eddie Baker, Michael Whiting, and Anthony Probst have led just about every lap here. Those three guys being out front as much as they are, they're going to have to be very careful with their fuel. They're probably going to have to pit together, and if they are still at the front, that could get extremely dicey if everybody else does not pit. $11 laps completed so far, green flag all the way. %40 fuel, and based on the last couple of weeks' races, I'm going to guess they can make it, the guys at the front definitely can't make it more than about 15, 16 laps. They're going to be needing to get to pit road very, very soon. The guys behind them might be able to pull off one more lap. Maybe if they were really, really conservative and really stayed out of the gas, they might be able to make it 2 laps. Drew Warren had dropped back early on. He had started in 8th place. He had dropped outside the top 10. He is just creeping his way back up into the front, probably trying to find the ideal position for the pit stops that are coming here shortly. And of course, pit strategy, fuel strategy, all of that will change if we get a caution or if we get the big one. You can see now these guys were very planted the first 3 or 4 laps. Everybody's starting to move around a lot. That tire wear and the less fuel over the back wheels is starting to show. And it looks like we have somebody back there blinking, which could also come into play before it's all said and done. It looks like the front 11 cars, 12 cars are pretty much side by side, and then we've got about 5 cars back here that are nose to tail single file. Those are the guys that might be able to stretch that fuel mileage a little bit further. If I had to pick a driver that could stretch fuel mileage the most at this point, it would be Matt Stewart. He's been hanging out right outside the top 10. He's been taking it extremely easy. Him and Norman Chan both just hanging out back there. You can tell those two are most likely working together. Back up front, still side by side, Eddie Baker, Michael Whiting right behind him. You got Mason Neal on the outside, Anthony Probst to the inside. In that third row is Derek Turner and Brian Burkhart. Then Drew Warren 7th, Jim Johnson is 8th, Spencer Brown 9th, Mike Killenbeck is in 10th. Coming to lap, we are on lap 15, so we'll see if we start to see some guys peel off as they come through 3 and 4. Didn't get an exact lap count from anybody prior to the race, so it'll be interesting to see how long they can go, but I'm guessing it's not going to be much longer with a 40% fuel tank. Up front, the 29 of Eddie Baker on the outside. Michael Whiting in the 44 down to the inside. Anthony Probst now back into second. As the outside line is starting to come apart, probably a pretty good indicator we are about to have some green flag stops. Everybody's starting to spread out just a little bit here. And the 98 comes to pit road. We're seeing a large number. I think everybody's hitting pit road this time. Norman Chan stays out. Matt Stewart stays out. Brian Mansfield stays out. Everybody else is on pit road. And they had it got a little dicey coming down to pit road, getting slowed up. It looks like they're getting a little dicey on pit road, trying to get things sorted out. Meanwhile, these three continue to turn laps. We'll see if they come next time. We'll see how many extra laps they can turn. So we should see about 2 more pit stops out of these guys. And the advantage these three have staying out, especially if they can get another lap. If a caution happens while they are out, they're going to put the entire field a lap down. No, they're going to come down on lap 17. Meanwhile, Michael Whiting and a bunch of other cars. There's a car slowed up there, or back there, rather, coming off. And that is Eddie Baker. He stopped on the back straightaway, and he has gone to pit road. Not sure what happened with Eddie. He was in that big group that came to pit road suddenly. Brian Mansfield coming off pit road with Matt Stewart. They are about to get passed by this pack. Brian Mansfield still being scored in the lead, but not for long. Here comes Michael Whiting, Mason Neal, Anthony Probst, and Derek Turner. So we've got a 4-car pack. A couple of stragglers out there. They didn't get off pit road together. We'll have to wait and see if Brian Mansfield can get hooked on, if he's got enough speed to stay with these guys. He seems to be hanging on for the moment. As long as he can stay in their draft, he'll be able to stay with that pack. That'll put him in 5th place. And he is. He is locked on. Matt Stewart is in 6th. He is all by himself. DJ Kenner and Brian Burkhart, Jim Cook, and Drew Warren is in the second 4-car pack. They're going to catch back up, and as they pick cars up along the way, the bigger that pack gets, if they stay single file, they can get back up there to that leader. But that 5-car pack at the front, they are starting to open up a little bit of a gap. Matt Stewart now 5.8 seconds behind the leaders, and here comes the remainder of that group. They're going to end up about the same, about 5 seconds behind the lead pack. They'll be in a 5-car pack once they pick Matt up. They hop to the outside. Eddie Baker has been to the pit road and left again. Meanwhile, this 5-car lead pack, until the next pit stop, they might be able to stay broken away for a little bit, although the next pit stop could shake things up. So we've got one 5-car pack, 1st through 5th, Michael Whiting, Mason Neal, Anthony Probst, Derek Turner, and Brian Mansfield. Second 5-car pack, 6-car pack now, DJ Kenner, Brian Burkhart, Jim Cook, Drew Warren, and hanging out back there is Superman Norman Chan. And they've got Matt Stewart with them now as well. DJ Kenner currently leading that pack around. They are about right on the nose, 5 seconds behind Brian Mansfield in 5th place. And they are starting to gain a little bit of time. As they come down the back straightaway, they gain about 1/10 of a second. As long as they can stay in that good draft pack, they seem to be catching up. There is somebody in the lead pack that is having a little bit of a connection issue and blinking. As that 2nd place car of Mason Neal. Most tracks that wouldn't be, I mean, obviously it's a distraction and it can cause its own set of problems, but most tracks, somebody blinking in a pack isn't going to be as big of a deal as it is here. When that car is not visible to the other drivers on track, its physics are also not present. That means it is not helping with the draft pack. So that means when he disappears, the 98th of Anthony Probst, he is not getting as much draft and not getting as much of the wind cut as he would be with that car there. That slows down that entire 5-car pack every time he blinks. It might just be a fraction of a second or a fraction of a mile of an hour, but it does have an impact when you have somebody blinking in a pack on a plate track. DJ Kenner leading this 2nd pack right now. They have closed under 4 seconds to the lead pack. Only 2 cars not on the lead lap. Eddie Baker and looks like Leo Giacondo is out. Eddie Baker is a couple of laps down and he is by himself for the moment. as they continue to crank the laps out here. Brian Mansfield in 5th, but he has a group coming, and when they get within about a second of that lead pack, once DJ Kenner gets within about a second of Brian Mansfield, they will really start to close up. Brian Burkhart right on the back bumper. He is giving DJ Kenner one heck of a push. All these guys behind him, when they catch that pack, they're going to have to give Brian Burkhart a huge thanks. You can see just how close Burkhart is getting. He's got to be extremely careful about this for a couple of reasons. He bumps that car in front of him too hard, they're both going to go for a ride. And if he stays there too terribly long, doesn't cool that engine off, he'll blow an engine and take out the cars behind it. But it looks like Burkhart is doing an excellent job of pushing. This second pack led by DJ Kenner there. Jim Cook is 3rd in line in the 9. Drew Warren back there. And 10th place Matt Stewart with Superman Norman Chan right behind him. Now they're within 2.5 seconds of the lead pack, and they're going to be carrying a ton of momentum when they get to that lead pack. However, they will have to make at least 2 more stops. If this thing stays green, they should need another stop between lap 32 and lap 34, as it looks like Brian Burkhart had almost got right into the back bumper of DJ Kenner. Had to scoot up the track a little bit, taking an opportunity to cool the engine off real quick, and he's going to get back up there as they close back to the back bumper of Derek Turner. And now the front group is starting to go. Anthony Probst to the outside. He's been hanging out behind Michael Whiting this whole time. He jumps to the outside. Now we've got 2 lines for him. This was a smart move. This front pack splitting up cancels out any run that these guys behind him have. Although apparently somebody didn't get the memo. It looks like Burkhart was about to make it 3 wide. He backs out of it for the moment anyway, but it looks like we might start seeing this thing get a little bit racy before too much longer. Anthony Probst slid back down in front of the 44. He is now back to the lead. And they are getting very racy up at the front as Probst gets up high, and they've got a lap car coming. That's going to be Eddie Baker up there on the high side as they come down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. Eddie staying up high, just staying off the wall, going to drop back in line behind these guys. The 11 drops down low. The 98's out there by himself for the moment. Anthony Probst had some help briefly. Now he is on his own. Now looks like the 6 car is caught back up to the back bumper, but he'll have to get a good push to get back up there to the front. DJ Kenner right there in the 32. He's got Brian Burkhart with him still as they come down. Burkhart is the one that pushed him up to that lead pack, and I guarantee you, DJ goes, Burkhart's going to help push him up. They're just waiting for the opportunity to move to the front here. Brian Mansfield, he pitted with that second group. He stayed out that extra lap. He had been at the back of the pack before the first green flag stop. Now he is up to 5th. He started in 16th. He's up to 5th. He's made up the most positions so far. And Brian is hanging on to it. He is now being scored in 4th as they come out of turn 2. Down the back straightaway, we're about 2 to 3 laps from green flag stops again if they stay green. But you can see all these guys getting a little bit, things are getting a little bit sketchy out there. Brian Mansfield still hanging out in 6th place. He's going back and forth between about 4th and 6th, depending on how that outside line does. But these guys are really, gotta say, pretty impressive considering the limited fuel load, the number of stops they're going to have to make. They've had a pretty clean race so far. Nobody has really been wrecked, and we haven't seen the big one yet. And we're just past halfway now as well. Everybody making pretty smart moves right now, just holding on to the car. When we get down to about 5 laps to go, things will get really crazy, but it looked like it might be getting a little dicey back there for a moment. The 32 of DJ Kenner started looking like he was going to try and make it 3 wide. Burkhart's a little bit far to be pushing, and Burkhart actually just dropped down to the inside line. And I'd imagine we're about to start seeing that inside line. Or that outside line is going to break up a little bit as they get ready to go back to pit road. And the 44 of Michael Whiting goes to pit road. And there's a wreck coming down to pit road. Huge wreck coming onto pit road. Let's see if we can see what happened there. Looks like Michael Whiting just checked up more than anybody else was expecting, more than anybody else did. Got pushed down to the inside wall. We've got a couple of other cars. Brian Burkhart was involved in that at the last minute, and that, but because it was, no, we do get the caution. So everybody's going to get a chance to pit here, get fresh tires. They all have fast repairs left. They came into the race with 3 fast repairs. So those guys that were on pit road, their smart move at this point is going to be get a quick pit stop in here, get their fast repair, get some new tires, get some fuel, and then we'll go from there. They'll be able to maintain the lead lap as long as they got on pit road, got to their pit stall, didn't have to tow. They'll be able to hang on to the lead lap, and it might even give them a little bit of an advantage once these leaders pit. Should see the 98 come to pit road this time. Meanwhile, Michael Whiting is back out on track, but he is heavily damaged and slow. It looks like he tried to hang on to it to avoid the penalty. Anthony Probst comes to pit road. DJ Kenner, he already came to pit road, so he is going to be, he is one of those cars that came to pit road just a couple of laps ago. So he is going to stay out there and assume the lead. Burkhart will be second. Killenbeck looks like he's going to be third. Jim Cook fourth, and once Probst comes back out, I do believe he'll come out into fifth. what? It looks like Mr. Probst is in the, let's see if we can tune into his radio real quick. Hey, Anthony Probst, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Doug. What's up?
Hey, man, that was a little bit wild getting the caution, but that really kind of plays into your hand. You got to pit a little bit later, and what's your strategy going to be from here?
Really, I just got to try to stay up front. I think the leader's really vulnerable in this draft, so honestly, I'd rather be about second or third, coming to the white or 2 to go. But there's a long way to go here, so let's let it play out. Hopefully, we don't get too many more cautions.
That is true, and you've been up front most of the night. It looks like you can just about pull out and pass whenever you want to.
Well, yeah, the draft's so big here. You can with these cars, if you got one pusher and you got a big enough run, you could pull out and pass pretty much at will. It's just a matter of positioning your car and waiting for the right time.
And who are you going to be looking for when you go to make that move for the lead? Who are you going to be wanting to push you?
Oh, man, I don't know. I think the 44 is really good at pushing. I've had him in the draft with me a lot. Either him or the 11. The 11 was doing a good job pushing us there. So, yeah, everybody's doing a good job just keeping it clean.
All right, man. Well, best of luck. Hopefully we'll be talking to you in Victory Circle tonight.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, that was Anthony Probst, driver of the 98 car there. And good evening to Matthew Harris. Skylar, that's funny. All right, lights are out on the pace car. Current lineup as we get ready to go green again. DJ Kenner up front, Brian Burkhart second, Killenbeck is third, Anthony Probst is fourth, Brian Mansfield is in fifth, Mason Neal in sixth, Derek Turner is in seventh, Jim Johnson eighth, Matt Stewart is in ninth, Jim Cook is in 10th, then Norman Chance, Spencer Brown, Drew Warren, and Eddie Baker. Looks like Eddie got his repairs. He is back out there. And Michael Whiting's actually off track at the moment. Michael Whiting took a good hit going to pit road. He had to not sure why he didn't dive straight to pit road, but he tried to make it around for a lap, and that's what brought us under caution. Take another quick look. There is him coming, and he blew up down on the infield. I am doing good, Matthew. How about you? All right, pace car about to drop off. And you heard Anthony Probst say he is going to try and stay right behind the leader, right up there toward the front, but he doesn't want to be leading when the white flag comes out. Dangerous position to be right at the front. You're going to be driving in your mirror the whole time. Pace car is in. As they come down the front straightaway, getting ready for the flagman to drop the green. Barney, the flagman, has the green flag in the air, and they are away with DJ Kenner and Brian Burkhart. And when these two got together earlier, they managed to get all the way to the front together. Or back, they managed to close down a 5-second gap with Burkhart pushing. If these two get back together, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to get around them. Coming down the back straightaway, it'll take at least till they come back around down the back straightaway before they're up to full speed. But this is one of the best times if you're going to make a move as you come up to speed. If you get enough momentum while everybody's still trying to get the engine wound up, this is one of the best times to make a move. So we might see a little bit of craziness on this first lap. Yeah, I had a mullet, but that was the first time since the 90s that I've had hair, so thanks. Most of the time I'm bald. There is a link in the description there, Matthew. All right, as they come down, 24 laps to go. One more pit stop will be required by these guys. And now a little bit of a strategy play as they come down. Oh, Burkhart gets together. A little door slam, and looked like he was trying to get a little side draft and got too close. DJ Kenner, Brian Burkhart, they've been working together all night long, but Mike Killenbeck has broken up the party there. And don't forget, still lurking in the back is Jim Cook, Jim Johnson, Norman Chan, and Drew Warren. I would fully expect to see these guys get hooked up with about 5 laps to go and come to the front. That's when we'll start seeing some 3-wide battling. Anthony Probst looking to the outside just a little bit there. I don't think he was trying to make a pass, just got a little squirrely there briefly. And whereas in a cup car you see those big spoilers that stick up extremely high, they punch a huge hole in the air and give these guys a lot of downforce. In these Xfinity cars, that is not the case. They have the about half of what the cup cars have on the spoiler, and it does not go all the way across either. It just kind of covers the deck lid like it was a real trunk. So it does make these cars, they can get a bit squirrely. These are often described as a driver's car because there's so little downforce and so much power. These cars have 650 horsepower and weigh 3,400 pounds. The cup cars only have about 100 pounds or 100 horsepower more, and in some configurations not even 50 horsepower more. So it definitely makes a difference. It makes these cars a lot harder to drive because they have almost the same power but not nearly as much downforce. The front end is designed slightly differently, so they don't have as much front end downforce either. So it does make can make things get a little bit dicey out there, especially as tire wear came on. We saw it during the first run, right before the first green flag stop. These guys were starting to get a little squirrely out there, moving a lot more. You see how steady everybody is at the moment, but as the tire wear becomes a bigger deal, that's when they'll start moving around a lot more. I'm willing to bet some of these guys have not taken or did not take tires on that last stop as it gets a little squirrely up here. Brian Mansfield, the 11, down to the inside. That was a power move by Mansfield, getting his nose underneath the 5 car there, coming up off of 4. They lean into each other. Brian Mansfield gets the short end of the stick. He keeps his momentum up, drifts back up in turns 1 and 2, comes back across. He's trying to hold on to it. Mansfield's keeping his foot in. He's got some rear damage, and now he's way off track, coming back up, trying to get back into the draft. A heck of a save by Brian Mansfield, and a heck of a save by everybody around him. He was trying to keep it down there for a moment and just couldn't, drift it back across the track. Everybody saw it coming and managed to be very evasive, get around him, and that was several close calls right there. But surprisingly, everybody managed to avoid that despite how close they were. And now you've got a couple cars that have got separated from the pack. Mansfield has some heavy damage to his rear end. He is not going to be as fast, and he's out of the draft. Drew Warren, Superman, Norman Chan back there by themselves. They've got the 29 of Eddie Baker there as well. Eddie's a couple laps down, but or 1 lap down, excuse me. But he can still get in this group and help push them up. Mason Neal, not that far ahead of these guys either. Once they get connected with them, as long as that front pack stays 2 by 2, these guys have a chance of catching back up. Everything kind of got shook up there briefly as we get later in this race. Oh. Thanks, guys. Spider-Man pointing meme. All right, this front pack has opened up a bit of a gap, but we're starting to see everybody getting a little dicey, trying to, oh my goodness. Oh, we've got one loose down on the bottom. He tried to, that looks like it's Brian Burkhart was trying to avoid a car coming down, and he managed to save it. But now a couple of cars not in the lead pack draft here. And that group right behind them, being led by Norman Chan, now has the opportunity to catch back up. Jim Cook, Brian Burkhart, Mike Killenbeck up here. If these two groups get together, it'll be easy to go to back up to the lead. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, we will be within the window. Within the next lap, they will be within their fuel window. So might start seeing some fuel strategy out here before it's all said and done. All right, back up front. It's almost gotten boring at the front with the way the last few laps have gone. Back up front. Anthony Probst is first, Derek Turner second, Jim Johnson third, Matt Stewart is fourth, Mason Neal now up in fifth, Spencer Brown, one of the newcomers, he's in sixth, DJ Kenner is back in seventh, he's got Mike Killenbeck and Jim Cook with him, and Brian Burkhart just had an incident. Let's see what happened. We're still under green though. Didn't get to see what led to him. Whoops. Glitch in the matrix. Let's rewind that and see what happened to Burkhart here. It looks like he blinked right in the middle of that pack. That is the best assessment I can give. They have gone to caution. Multiple glitches in the matrix at once, and now everybody can make it from here on fuel. So that will definitely change things up a bit here. Everybody's going to get an opportunity to get back into the lead pack. Burkhart will get a fast repair, get back out there. I believe he has used one already, but they had 3 for tonight. Always a smart move when the league admins put a couple extra in on a draft track. The 98 trying to catch back up to the pace car. Everybody spread out and got safe after that incident. The leader has the pace car now. Now, like I said, we should see everybody come to pit road this time. You guys are cracking me up in the chat, but I would not perm your mullet. That just seems weird. Member of the production crew says you should perm your mullet, Nick, but I'm against it. That's just me. It looks like everybody is coming to pit road. Brian Burkhart has been to pit road, got his repairs. He is back out. Eddie Baker is out there trying to get waved around back to the lead lap. And he has been waved around, so he is now back to the lead lap. And for the moment at least, Derek Turner is being scored in the lead as they cross the start-finish line. Hey, a Tracy Lawrence cassette would be awesome. Tracy Lawrence, always awesome. All right. Actually, Tracy Lawrence sang a song, Paint Me a Birmingham, not far from Talladega. There you go. I managed to work that one in. Watermelon Crawl was Tracy Bird. Just for... Yes, and we do respond to the comments in chat if you're new, so if you got something to say it, and we'll do our best to get to all of them during the broadcasts. Don't forget, immediately after this wild one finishes up, we will be going to the Outlaw Dirt Boys. They're going to be racing the dirt umps at Eldora, and that's going to be a wild one. I know that the handling on the umps has improved dramatically this season, so we will see how that one goes. I haven't actually tried driving the ump again since the new tire model and whatnot, but I hear it's much easier to drive and much better to drive. Nick, I'm not repeating that one, but that is funny. All right, lights are out on the pace car. I do have a, if it would be easier, I have a PayPal account. The email is dougdburns@cox.net. And I definitely thank you all for all your support. You guys are definitely awesome. Although we're going to have to take that back. We might have to take back anything good we say if Nick perms the mullet. Pace car is about to drop off the track. And let's just take a quick look again. Track temperature has stayed the same, air temperature has stayed the same, and I believe the humidity has actually gone down 1% here, so not a huge effect for the guys up at the front, but when the air temperature drops, so does the track temperature, and I guarantee you it's a little bit cooler in the shade there, giving them a little bit more grip. That's why you often see a lot more movement and passing through 3 and 4. Alright, this time by it's going to be Derek Turner, Mason Neal up front, Anthony Probst, Matt Stewart, Spencer Brown, Mike Killenbeck, Brian Mansfield, Drew Warren, Jim Johnson, and DJ Kenner are your top 10. Green flag in the air, 12 laps to go, excuse me, as they cross the start-finish line. Mason Neal trying to get a jump out to the front, trying to get down to that low line and get an advantage here. Can't get very far with it, though. Anthony Probst sitting right where he wants to be right now. As he said in his interview, he is in his perfect position at the moment. Meanwhile, let's highlight a couple guys. Matt Stewart, who started back in 12th in the 07 car up there on the outside. He is now up to 4th place. Spencer Brown started in 10th. He is up to 5th. Brian Mansfield started in 16th. He is up to 7th. The guys you want to watch right back here, about 10th place DJ Kenner, 11th place Norman Chan, and Eddie Baker is in there. They've got Jim Cook and Brian Burkhart back there. That is the group you're going to watch. That group has been drafting together for a very long time. They know how to work together and get themselves to the front. 11 laps to go. I would expect in about 5 laps to see Burkhart and a couple of those guys at the back, like Norman Chan. They get connected. They're coming to the front. And I would also expect here in about 5 laps to see 3 wide. It's worth noting that some of the original long-term members of the league, I should say, and when they used to run an SR8 series together, I have seen them finish here 5 wide in an SR8. Actually, seems like there was one where they finished 6 wide. So, but some of them were upside down as they finished 6 wide. I'm sure Skylar remembers some of that. No, there is not. In fact, it is mostly a Chevy field. Only a couple of Fords. Spencer Brown is in a Ford. Killenbeck is in a Ford. Brian Burkhart is in a Ford. Explains a lot. Michael Whiting was in a Ford, but it looks like he is currently off track. No Toyotas in the field. 4 Fords started. Only 3 are going to finish. I'm not surprised by that at all. And Anthony Probst now back to the lead, up on the high side. He drops down low. Mason Neal is coming back to the front now. He's got the 07 up there. Matt Stewart helping pushing him to the front. Nine laps to go. Brian Burkhart hanging out back there. He is right on the back bumper of the 32 of DJ Kenner. Remember, he pushed Kenner around on the second run. After the green flag stops, they had a pack going, but the 2 of them managed right at the front of that pack to push all the way back up from a 5-second deficit to catch back up to the lead pack. So these two definitely know how to work together and get the job done here, and they are definitely going to come to the front. They've got Superman Norman Chan back there as well. As some of these guys are starting to look, we've got one up the middle. That's the 35, Drew Warren. And he slots back into line. Didn't get anybody to go with him. It looks like he actually lost a position in that. He is now falling back behind Norman Chan. Anthony Probst still up there in the lead. He's got Derek Turner right behind him. Mason Neal to the outside. 7 laps to go. And they're looking 3 wide to go around. The 49, Mason Neal there in the red and yellow car. He went backwards. They just kind of went around him, and because of the way it fell, he managed to get shuffled back quite a bit as they lined up. The 95 now jumps out to the high side. Spencer Brown has got Mason right behind him. They're 3 wide back behind them, and here we go. This is when it starts getting a little crazy. Here comes the 35 of Drew Warren, straight up the middle. Now there's 3 lines. Let's briefly hop in Drew's car. That's what Drew's looking at. As you can see, when they're in these three lines, the side draft comes into play, drafting comes into play, tires come into play. Not to mention, the air off the other cars does push you around a little bit. It can force your car to go somewhere you don't want it to. Things can get very exciting and very sketchy very quickly. Anthony Probst now back in second, right where he wanted to be at the end of the race. He is pushing the 95 of Spencer Brown around the track. 3 wide back mid-pack, as now they're going to start settling in. The 07 is now starting to come to the front. Drew Warren, who started that 3 wide excitement, he is now back to 9th. He lost a couple of positions on that exchange. We'll see if he starts to work back up the middle. He's got Superman right there with him. I know Superman's not afraid to go straight up the middle here, but he is definitely going to wait till the last minute. And we saw him earlier in the race. He was up at had worked his way up several positions. He's been playing with the draft a little bit. He'll draft up to the front, or up mid-pack, make sure he knows how far he needs to go, when he needs to go. 4 laps to go, the 6 car now to the lead. Got 2 cars off the back. DJ Kenner is starting to fall back. He has no damage, but Brian Burkhardt has fallen off the lead pack. Jim Cook has fallen off the lead pack. The lead pack is only 10 cars at this point. And they're 3 wide. They're looking to go 4 wide. Brian Mansfield backs out of it at the last minute. He does not commit to that high line. But they are 3 wide, 3 deep, all the way around the track now. Four wide coming down the front straightaway. Coming through the triangle, they are 4 wide. The 35 of Drew Warren gets a little advantage, manages to slide back up and make it just 3 wide. And oh, we're going to have the big one. Here it goes. Caution is going to be out. We've got several cars involved, and it looks like just about everybody at the front involved in that one. Caution is out. Let's see if we can see. Anthony Probst was involved. Let's see who else got caught in that. Looks like Matt Stewart and Mason Neal got together coming through there. Jim Cook gets caught in that, as well as the 35 of Drew Warren. Jim Cook comes out fairly clean. And it looks like Derek Turner got caught in that as well. He ended up way down on the inside. A lot of torn sheet metal here, folks. Up at the front, looks like Spencer Brown managed to get away clean. The 29 of Eddie Baker being scored in second. He has no hood. 3 laps to go. Looks like we will go into a green-white checkered. The 16 of Norman Chan. And he is heavily damaged. He'll have to go in and get repaired as well. And I think the 11 of Brian Mansfield looks like, no, he does have some damage on the hood, but he might, and a lot of damage to the right rear, so he'll have to have repairs as well. Matt Stewart missing the entire front clip and hood. Jim Johnson back there, he took a little bit of damage. Drew Warren, we saw him get spun. He went down. He was in the infield, but I'm not seeing heavy damage on the back bumper. Jim Cook was involved. He was undamaged, and it looks like Mike Killenbeck, he was off pace back there. He had lost the front pack, and he is now going to be up at the front. Nick, that is not my phone number. You can shoot me a message anytime, Matt. And we can get connected. And, of course, you guys are all welcome to join us Friday nights in the HTSAI Friday Fun Series. And if you weren't aware of this, I am always, when I am streaming during the day and I'm racing, I am in my Discord. I'll post that link again later tonight. All right, looks like we will go into a green-white checkered. They have 2 attempts at the green-white checkered. This will be attempt number 1. And I can tell you several of these cars in the field have already used at least 2 fast repairs. Some of these guys might have used up all their fast repairs. They're going to have to be extremely smart about what they do. But up at the front, Jim Cook is up front. Spencer Brown is in second. Superman Norman Chan will be starting on the inside in third. He'll have Matt Stewart right there with him and Brian Mansfield to the outside. Newer driver Eddie Baker is back in sixth. Jim Johnson seventh. Drew Warren is eighth. Mason Neal is ninth. And Anthony Probst, after being the dominant car most of the night, he is back in 10th, so we'll see if he can work through the field and get back up to the front. I expect to see some more carnage and a little bit more 3-wide racing. Derek Turner is 11th, DJ Kenner is 12th, Burkhart back up in 13th, and Killenbeck is in 14th. And Burkhart and Killenbeck, they actually lost the draft on that last one. Both of them have been to pit road. They've got repairs done, so they should be good to go from here. And with it being a green-white checkered situation, I would imagine this thing's going to get crazy. And there you go, Matthew. To answer your question, I had a second there, and my phone actually decided to cooperate. So, all right, lights are out on the pace car. We're going off into turn number 3 now. Don't forget to stick around after this for the dirt race. And just to give you a heads up for this Friday's HTSAI Friday Fun League, one of the races is going to involve a figure 8. Jim Cook on the inside, Spencer Brown on the outside, Norman Chan down to the inside right behind Jim, Brian Mansfield on the outside. Matt Stewart in the 07, Eddie Baker up there on the outside. Matt Stewart, Drew Warren, 6th and 7th. 8th is Jim Johnson. So a lot of these guys that know how to work together, but they also know how each other drives. They've spent a lot of time together. Things are about to get dicey. Green-white checkered, number 1. Green flag is in the air. Here we go. Jim Cook gets a good start on this one. The 95 of Spencer Brown has a little bit better start, though. And remember, those two at the front did not pit. The 11 of Brian Mansfield giving a heck of a push up there on the outside. Superman right behind Jim Cook. The 07 trying to get caught back up and help push as it gets a little sketchy towards the back. And I do believe that was Drew Warren looking to go up the middle again. As the 9 car and the 29 get together. They slide off the track. Everybody keeps going. We'll see if it stays green. If they take the white. Oh, we've got 2 laps to go. We're coming down. If they take the white flag here without a caution, it will stay green. Spencer Brown at the front. The 3 wide right behind him. White flag is in the air. No caution. We are going to the checkers. 95 is out front, but he is in the middle. Brian Mansfield got a run down to the inside. He's got Superman pushing. The 35 up on the outside, and here comes the 98 of Anthony Probst. But he is up on the high side with very little help. The 07 starts to come up. The 11 of Brian Mansfield, though, currently in the lead. The 95 trying to get a nose out front. It's going to come down to the wire at the line. The 11 has help. 16 does not. 98 is up in the wall. He manages to pull it back down. The 11 car has got a car length ahead, but they're 3 wide right behind him. They come to the line. It's going to be Brian Mansfield at the line. Superman Norman Chan pushes him up and comes home second. Spencer Brown is third. Jim Johnson is fourth. Drew Warren is fifth. That last lap was wild. Mike Killenbeck comes home sixth. DJ Kenner 7th. Derek Turner comes home 8th. Mason Neal is 9th. 10th is Brian Burkhart. After getting into the wall through 3 and 4, Anthony Probst comes home 11th. Bit of a heartbreak for Anthony tonight. He had such a good run going. All right, now they will commence to celebrating the way only these guys know how. Brian Mansfield had some smart strategy, kept the car clean for most of the night, and managed to get the win here at Talladega. All right, ladies and gentlemen, wait for it. Oh, that was not very good. There we go. That's a little bit better. Oh, yep, okay. If he blows the engine by doing burnouts and not by getting hit, I'm going to be disappointed. And he's off track. Let's see where Norman Chan is. I know he's going to help us put on a show, and we will wait for them to hop up in here so we can talk to the winner. Brian Mansfield wins. Norman Chan comes home second. Good job, Norm. He gets the 35 sent to the wall, inside wall, and skids across track on his roof. He's going to do a couple of barrel rolls and stick the landing. What a finish. Jim Belair in the chat. Good evening, Jim. All right, we will see if we can talk to Brian Mansfield here in just a moment. Hey, Brian.
Which one?
The Mansfield one, the one that just won at a wild finish there.
Yeah, you know, I owe that 100% to Norm. He stayed with me and he pushed me at the end. That was all Norm. I was just keeping it straight, and I came over to the radio. I told him, I said, "Push, baby, push." But glad to pick up the win. Appreciate my sponsor, Combs Family Museum in Shelby, North Carolina. Thank you to Brian, the other Brian, for putting this on. And again, I owe all this to Norm. I would have never won without him behind me.
Well, you definitely had a heck of a run and some great strategy there at the last part of the race.
Yeah, I was playing a little bit of pit strategy, got caught up in a late race wreck there, and thought I was out of it, and caution helped me get back in it. And surprisingly, I changed right side tires one time the whole night.
That is kind of a surprise. 60 laps on one set of left sides. That's pretty impressive, especially considering how well that car was sticking there at the end.
Yeah, just holding a steady wheel. I kept watching my tires every time I would pit. I would watch my percentages, and they were staying around 90. The left sides at the end of the race was like 97, 98%. So I was saving them pretty good.
Well, congratulations, man. That was definitely a heck of a win and a hard-fought battle.
Oh, thank you, Doug, and thank you for broadcasting. And again, thank you to Norm. I owe this to him.
All right. And second place does go to Superman, Norman Chan. And I got to say, Superman, that was one heck of a push there at the end.
How you doing, Doug? Yeah, that was that was some race. That was Talladega. Yeah, on that last lap, after we got through that wreck, Brian was in front of me. We had the inside line. He asked for a little push, and that's what I gave him. Fortunately, I wound up coming in second after that, so hey, even better.
That was a heck of a good win and a great second place, and it was very, very close there at the end for second place, but you got a nose ahead there at the end.
Oh no, definitely. I didn't watch the replay yet, but I mean, looking to my right, I knew how close that was. Overall, this was a fun race. I think on lap 33, we had a very interesting pit stop where like 5, 6 of us wrecked over there. But luckily for the quick repairs, I was able to come back out there and finish strong.
And you should know you got your second place by 2/100ths of a second.
Wow, that's amazing.
Great finish.
No, thank you again. I hope I don't have to see this track again for a while.
I hear that. All right, and Brian Mansfield, before I forget, Jim Belair says congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
All right, Spencer Brown came home third. You missed second place by 2/100ths of a second.
I didn't think it was that close. Wow. I looked out my left window and I saw Norm just taking off, and I was just like, all right, I'm going to take my third and just hold it here. I didn't know that I was the only Ford in the front of this field, so I didn't have any allies.
No, and you actually, Jim Johnson finished 1/100th of a second behind you, so that you guys came across the line 3 wide, and it was extremely close there at the end.
Yeah, I was just holding the wheel, and I was like, just don't wreck right now, because I knew it would take out the whole field right at the finish, and that would definitely have ruined this race for a lot of people.
Well, it was a heck of a finish. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And I see Brian Burkhart's here, and I've got to ask, Brian, after that first green flag stop, you managed to push another car. You guys closed down of a 5-second gap, but the second to last caution, you lost the draft. What happened?
Yeah, so that pit stop, we had kind of a little bit of a mess coming in there, and we ended up getting I think actually the first group took 2 tires and a bunch of us took 4. So that's what got us split up, and I just basically said, guys, hey, let's go and get in a line and let's go and draft, and we did, and everybody just stayed right in line. I was pushing DJ as hard as I could to get up there, and it really worked. Unfortunately, at the end, just got caught up in a little bit of the Talladega stuff, if you will, and got into the outside wall, lost a ton of aerodynamics, and just had to kind of scrape back through and get what I could get.
Well, it was still a pretty decent finish tonight. You came home, got a top 10, and not a bad finish. And yeah, you had one of the faster cars earlier on, so a little bit of a heartbreak there, but still pulling off a top 10 tonight's not bad considering.
Yeah, I'll take it. Anytime you can get out of Dega with a top 10 is not a bad thing. So we'll go on to next week, and really want to thank you for the broadcast. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming for the league, and we know that you're going to be a big part of it. So we're really excited for the future for Outlaw and Mayhem.
All right, awesome, man. Well, thank you very much, and congratulations, guys. I know some of you got to get go hop over to Eldora.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys going to join Eldora, last night of the Dirt DIRT series for the umps, we switch over to our late models next week with you broadcasting. So it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, man. We'll talk to you guys all here in just a bit. Good luck, and we'll talk to you here shortly.
Awesome. Thanks, Doug.
All right. That was the quite a few of the drivers from this race. We'll be talking to some more of them here shortly. Stick around. We're going to switch over to that dirt broadcast, and then we'll be right back with you guys. Drop your comments there in the chat. We'll try and get a look at all of them before the next race starts, of course. And thank y'all for sticking around. Don't go anywhere. While you're at the snack bar waiting in line, hit the share button and just share it out to your friends, family, Congress, maybe? I don't know. Whoever. Thank you guys, and we'll be back in a moment.